Elizabeth Duesenberg Del Grasso.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, sometimes we have morning show meetings on the air in the morning when we need to discuss something, and I just now thought about this. This is something that true professionals would take care of before the podcast actually began.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been thinking, and I've been meaning to talk to you about maybe switching out. I'm starting to grow a little bit tired of this music to start the Liz and Scotty's Poddy.
Okay.
And that's coming up with some different stuff. When we first started, it made a lot of sense when we first started, and I liked it. We do this silly little thing at the end of every morning show where we talk about what we learned today. And this is the bed for that. And when we first started doing a podcast, it was kind of set up as, okay, here's what Liz and Scotty are talking about after the morning show is over. So it was just kind of a continuation from the way it ended into us talking. And it's fun and it's cute and it's okay. But I'm growing sort of tired of it. You know what I mean?
Good. Yeah. I am totally fine with changing beds.
Okay. So anyway, thank you for finding this podcast, however you have found it, taking the time to do it. We always appreciate you spending some time with us. We wanted to share something with you today that was one of those great topics that kind of started in one place, took off in several other different directions. Many times, again, a little peek behind the curtain, we'll get like a great call earlier in the morning, we'll play it, and then we'll end up, sharing it again later in the morning because it's different listeners and that sort of thing. This was one of those mornings where we had so much great content and calls, we didn't repeat any of them because great stuff just kept coming in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with so many different, topics,
angles and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Like you said, we were talking about the 70s at one point, 80s, 90s, the aughts. All of it was covered today.
Yeah, and on a morning like this, if you happen to be listening to the 8 o'clock hour, you might have missed some really fun stuff from the 6 and 7 o'clock hour, which is one of the reasons we put some of these silly little podcasts together in the first place. Mm-hmm. So we began this morning by talking about Brantley Gilbert is going to be touring with Nickelback. I know the name Nickelback. I figured that when I heard their songs, I'd be like, okay, I know that song. But I couldn't tell you what a Nickelback song was. So Liz played some songs for me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know who that is. But Nickelback very much seemed to me like one of those groups that everybody makes fun of. And that seemed odd to me. I don't want to say it seemed odd to me because there's always been groups like that, but I just didn't know why people made fun of them. Mm-hmm. And you weren't sure either. You kind of like them, right?
I like Nickelback, and my only thought is they're not exactly rock, or rock doesn't want to claim them because they have a little bit of a pop sound to them.
Yeah, too soft to be real rockers.
Exactly. And then pop doesn't really want to claim them for some unknown reason, so they just kind of fall through the cracks, and people like to pick on them.
Yeah. So the thing that got us started was, who is an artist or a group that maybe the pop culturally they get made fun of, but you still love them? So that was the premise that got us started. Again, we went several different places, but that got us going this morning.
It's Liz and Scotty in the morning.
Yes, just as you expected, you turned on Clear 99 Radio this morning, and they're going to be talking about Nickelback. Not really. Brantley Gilbert's going on tour with Nickelback. I just explained a few minutes ago that I know very little about Nickelback, except they seem to be like one of those groups that people make fun of, and I was never sure why. Mm-hmm. Liz, you said this off the air a while ago. Your boys,
Rascal Flatts.
Yeah, that's one of those groups.
And I'm looking at somebody who makes fun of them. Gary and his frosted tips.
I make fun of them just because I'm trying to get under your skin.
I know.
I will say this, too, about Rascal. When they first came out, they came out after there had been a slew of boy bands in pop music, and it felt like somebody was just trying to capitalize on that. They were obviously had a very poppy sound. They did. They had the frosted tips and everything. So they were not taken seriously by many people, me included. My hands in the air. But they stuck to their guns. They did their thing. The day they got invited to join the Grand Ole Opry, I was very excited. I was like, see, that's some guys there that are doing their thing. And Carrie Underwood was kind of the same way. Not that people made fun of her, but she was kind of that first superstar that came from a reality show. And there were many country artists, too, who made little comments about, you didn't do it the right way. You didn't come up through the bars and, playing all this. And she just kept her head down, kept her mouth shut, and now she is revered. So anyway, why'd you let me do that? I go off on some tangent. It's not even necessarily what we need to be talking about. Who is a musical group or artist that you love even though others make fun of them? Good morning.
Okay, so don't make fun of me, but I had Bieber cancer when I was like 14, 15, when Justin Bieber came out. I had everything of his. I had the toothbrush that sung his first 3 songs, the necklace, the pillows. Like, Justin Bieber threw up all over my bedroom.
Okay, so now that people make fun of him these days, do you still defend him? Do you still love him?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
I think he's popular again, though.
Yes. Yeah, I get that.
I don't think people make fun of him anymore.
There are some people that they get big, then all of a sudden they're uncool, and then they become so uncool for so long that they become cool again. Mm-hmm. Does that sound accurate maybe for the Biebs?
Well, especially for Justin Bieber, initially in the beginning, his voice was really high, really squeaky, and they're like, just wait until puberty and then he's not going to be cool anymore.
Right.
Well, then Justin Bieber showed everybody up and he was like, no, actually, I can really write some good music and perform and do really well.
Right.
So now he's, revered, I guess you would say.
I love what you just told me off the air, too, about the Justin Bieber toothbrush. It actually played a Bieber song.
Yeah, I think it was Baby. While you brushed your teeth, it would play.
Baby. Did you have one of those?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought maybe you did. Okay. All right. Someone that others make fun of that you love musically. 800-455-5257.
Morning.
So we were talking about those artists or groups that get made fun of, but you like them. Nickelback is what kind of got us started on this. Brantley Gilbert's going to be touring with Nickelback, and it just seems like it's one of those groups that everybody makes fun of. I was never sure why. So we're going to take a bit of a pause from that discussion just so I can have fun with Elizabeth here for a minute, because Justin Bieber came up and Rascal Flatts came up. Sort of in the same conversation. I don't even remember this, and I should have known that Rascal Flatts and Justin Bieber did a song together.
Yes, it was so good.
You're good?
That should be me, holding your hand. That should be me, making you laugh. That should be
Oh, my Lord. Liz is in heaven this morning. How long ago was it? Any guesses? We should have looked it up.
2011.
2011,
Yes,
okay.
so my junior year of high school.
Okay. And that has also led us to another topic for another morning, and that's the cheesiest videos ever, the ones that were from the 80s or 90s that you look back on now. But we're not doing that one this morning. This morning, we'd just like to focus on an artist or group that other people make fun of. The one that jumps to my mind all the time is Barry Manilow. Now, I was a kid of the 70s. I had older brothers, so I listened to what they listened to. And Barry Manilow was one of those guys that was cheesy. Everybody made fun of him. And I remember even at a young age going, okay, come on. The guy sold cajillions of albums, and no one will admit to liking him. Really? Is that really the case?
Guys, come on.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah. And I think he, much like you were talking about Bieber earlier, I think he's one of those that was so uncool for so long that it kind of made him cool again. And he had a bit of a resurgence later in his career.
Yeah,
So
now people are playing his records and albums and stuff like that. Yeah.
there's a great, I may need to go find this now that I'm thinking about it. There's a great Family Guy scene.
But first, get ready, Quahog, because Barry Manilow will be performing this weekend at the Quahog Performing Arts Center.
Barry Manilow.
What a joke.
So stupid.
And boring as hell.
Yeah, no kidding.
You couldn't pay me to go to that thing.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should go just as a goof.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, just look at all the idiots.
I mean, he's got like one good song.
Yeah, I mean, Mandy is not terrible.
Yeah, the opening's okay.
And I guess you can't hate Copacabana.
Yeah, if you're in the right mood.
Daybreak is a good song.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good song. And I like Weekend in New England.
Yeah, that's a good one. Looks like we made it,
Yeah, it's not bad.
right?
I love Barry Manilow.
Oh my God, he's the best!
I have everything he's ever recorded!
Me too! In my car!
We have to go to that concert.
We are going to that concert.
And I'm ready to take a chance again.
So if there's an artist or group that jumps out at you, other people make fun of them, maybe culturally, maybe it's just somebody in your family, but you still love them, you can call or text 800-455-5257. And we're getting some great calls and texts and comments this morning.
Karen texted in. She said the Osmonds, specifically Donnie. I had Donnie posters all over my bedroom, and I bought every single Tiger Beat magazine that he graced the front of.
Tiger Beat magazine. I had forgotten. Was that still around when you were a kid?
Yes, barely, but it was still there.
Tiger Beat. That's odd. Leif Garrett was in Tiger Beat magazine all the time.
I don't know who he is.
Okay, we'll move on then. Good morning.
Man, I like the Grateful Dead, and everybody, I'm a young cat, I'm only 32, but everybody talks about it being about drugs. There is some really good, wholesome music about being a good person and being a good friend to others and love and all of that music. So I always enjoyed it.
Okay, that's interesting that you're 32 because, I mean, most of the Grateful Dead fans that I know are even older than I am.
Absolutely, yeah. I wasn't even born in those days. So.
How about Neil Diamond all the way?
Okay.
We went to his concert in St. Louis years ago, and people made fun of us. And then they knew all the songs, so it makes it great.
Yeah, the people that are making fun of him sing every word to every song, right?
Exactly.
You know, it's funny because in high school, everybody was a fan of Neil Diamond in my day.
Really?
Yes. Yeah,
Oh my
we would
God.
play him all the time in PE class. And I didn't know who Neil Diamond was, and I had to hustle my buns to get to know his songs. So I didn't seem uncool.
Well, there you go. Now you're cool.
Yes, now he's cool again.
Thanks, guys.
Good morning.
Look at that sunshine pouring through that window behind you, Elizabeth.
It's beautiful.
Wonderful. Thanks for getting up at Clear 99 this morning. We're going down memory lane, a bunch of different lanes. We started talking about one thing. We've already had 3 or 4 things come up. We're like, okay, we can do that another morning. Okay, we can do that another morning. Okay, we can do that another morning. And this started with an artist or group that maybe is made fun of culturally, like Nickelback or Justin Bieber or Neil Diamond is another one. Lady called up a while ago and said Air Supply from the 70s, 80s, from my era that is made fun of, but you still love very, very much. Another name that has come up several times, Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yes, he has. Donna commented on our Facebook page that he even visited her retirement party, and she shared a picture of her and a cutout of Billy Ray Cyrus.
That's fantastic.
And of course, he's got his mullet and everything, and it is adorable.
All right. Billy Ray Cyrus, of course, Achy Breaky Heart was the big thing.
Yes.
People loved it and at the same time made fun of it. That's one of those songs they got so sick of the song because we played it all the time. And then, but it's one of those things, 10, 15 years later, I was listening to like some, throwback show, and all of a sudden it comes on, and I'm like, okay, that really is a good song. I can admit it now 15 years later.
Yeah. You know what's funny, though, is we've been talking about artists that get made fun of and then get made fun of so much that they become cool again.
Right.
Billy Ray Cyrus definitely had his, reprisal with, Old Town Road? Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
yeah.
But people still make fun of him. Like, he never got...
Yes. Okay. I'm about to jump up on a soapbox here. Okay. Let me share my thoughts on Billy Ray Cyrus.
Okay, settle in.
At the risk of offending some people, because Billy Ray Cyrus for many, many years had the biggest fan club in country. Even after Achy Breaky Heart, he was... and seems like a very nice man and has done many, many, many charitable things. But I keep wondering who keeps hiring him. And you talk about, to me, it's the opposite. Sometimes things are so uncool that they become cool again.
Yes.
In my opinion, Billy Ray Cyrus inserts himself into things, like with the whole Hannah Montana thing, which I get, he's her dad.
Yeah, he was cute in that show.
Absolutely. And that gave new life to his career, which is fine.
A little bit too much.
Right. But then he goes away for a while, and then he comes back, and he was the doctor on some TV show. It wasn't on a major network. It was when some of the cable networks.
Who hired him to play a doctor?
He was a country doctor. I think it probably kind of fit. And I am judging him without having ever watched the TV show.
No, I'm judging him now because have you seen him?
Yeah.
He's got dreadlocks.
Yes.
The man is trying to fit a rock profile, and it is awful.
It's not that the Billy Ray Cyrus that everyone came to know and then make fun of came back to be. He is a chameleon who keeps trying to change and insert himself, in my opinion, into these things. And again, I don't think he's a bad guy, but every time he comes up in something, I'm like, okay. who's keeping this going? It was the same thing with the Old Town Road thing to me because that song was a hit already. And then he's just like, okay, I'll be a part of this. And then all of a sudden, that starts getting nominated for Grammys. And then all of a sudden, it's like Billy Ray Cyrus is back. It's like, no, Billy Ray Cyrus is not really back.
Go sit him down somewhere.
He latched, just like he did with his daughter, he latched on to something else that was successful. And then all of a sudden now see? You're supposed to have some sort of control in here to keep me from doing these things.
This is too good.
I apologize because I don't dislike Billy Ray Cyrus. Please don't misunderstand. But come on. I tell you what, whoever his agent is the most talented person in Hollywood because he keeps getting him jobs, and I do not understand it. Okay, I've composed myself. My blood pressure is back down. I love it when listeners do research. We don't even have, we were talking about Billy Ray Cyrus in that show where he was a doctor.
Yeah, and we got a text message saying, I just Googled it. Doc was the show. It ran for 5. Yes, I said 5 seasons. Synopsis, a Montana doctor gets hired at a New York City office.
There you go. Fits right. Just sounds like a wonderful show, doesn't it? God. Well, how you doing?
I'm good. This is Tiffany. So I was just calling because I've been listening to you guys, and you mentioned the Tiger Beat or whatever the magazine was, and I have to say Backstreet Boys is definitely one that I listen to.
Okay.
You and me both, sister.
Yep. And didn't they had a performance on one of the award shows not too long ago, too, and that just made me ecstatic, so I was singing along with it, and my kids just looked at me like I was crazy.
That's one of the ones that I was lucky enough to be at.
Were you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the Backstreet Boys came out at it was either the ACMs or the CMAs. For some reason, I'm thinking ACMs. And I mean, the place went up for grabs. People going nuts.
Yep.
Everybody was singing along. It was great.
Yep. I was definitely that girl that had the posters plastered all over her wall when I was a teenager. I graduated in 2003, so my generation was definitely the Bop magazine and Tiger and Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
JTT. Yes.
Yep.
That's so good.
Anyway, I just wanted to share with you guys and let you know how much I enjoy listening to your conversations every day.
Well, that's so great, Tiffany. Thanks for being a part of it. That's what makes it work. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. You guys have a great day.
You too. Thanks for calling. Yeah, the Backstreet Boys. Did I ever tell you that story, Lynn?
No.
This was, just to set this up a little bit, I've looked back at it a little bit. It was the ACMs. It was in Las Vegas. Backstreet Boys were doing one of those residencies.
Okay.
And so I don't think they were a surprise. I think it was announced that they were going to be a part of the show. So they joined Florida Georgia Line to do God, Your Mama, and Me, which was a song at the time. Very, very neat performance, and seeing them on stage, very well received. And so then they get done with that song, and this happens. And that was all it took. That was all it took. We would greatly encourage you to, Liz and I just did this. Go YouTube or wherever, find this performance and check it out. What was it, 2017? Is that what we said?
2017.
So the fun part is watching back at the video. It was one of those, I will say, you've heard me talk many times about being lucky enough to be at the CMAs when Chris Stapleton and JT did their thing. By far the coolest thing I've ever seen. This is a very close second. That just watching the room and the people, and the camera goes down to Jason Aldean, to Tim McGraw, to Keith Urban, to Carrie Underwood. They're singing every word to every song. And then the guys come down and are walking through the crowd, and they're hugging and high-fiving all the artists. It was a special thing.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I was with you at this ACM performance, you would have lost me. You would not have ever found me again because I would have been clambering my way to get to the front of that stage.
Yeah, well, now you know why I don't always want to take you to these things. That's how you lose morning show partners. Trust me. It's happened before. But it was good. And seeing the video is cool, too.
I have never been so jealous in my life.
Really, really. Just search for the video. Again, it's ACMs, Backstreet Boys, FGL, 2017, Las Vegas. That can be your code words to track it down because it is pretty cool.
That was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. It's one of those mornings, too, that so much different stuff came up that we were writing down topics for future reference.
Yes.
From really, really cheesy videos. Looking back at the videos that you loved now when you were a kid, like from the 80s and 90s. Liz, what were we watching? And you had tears in your eyes. You were laughing.
Oh, earlier this morning?
Yeah.
It was the Justin Bieber and Rascal Flatts music video.
She was crying. She was laughing.
And I don't remember it as corny as it was, but when we were rewatching it this morning, I was like, oh, man, that is so bad.
Yeah, so we'll do that some morning very, very soon. Another one is the kid that, I say kid, he was 32, but the kid that called about liking the Grateful Dead. That's another kind of interesting one. Who is a group that you like and people are surprised because you are either much too old or much too young for that group? So, initial reaction of people is you're too old or too young.
Yes.
So those are both things we are putting in our pocket and maybe conversation pieces in the future on Liz and Scotty in the morning. But we thank you guys for listening, whether it's listening to the radio or digging around to find these podcasts. We just appreciate you taking the time to find them and to listen.
Yep, super easy to find them. All you have to do is search for Clear 99 on demand wherever you get your podcast, whether that be Google, Apple, or Spotify, or you can just find us on the Clear 99 website.
And if you find something that you like, share it with your friends, too. It doesn't hurt to spread the word a little bit. If you think it's funny or if you think it's fun, other people might, too. So please feel free to share them as well. Thank you guys so much for listening to Liz and Scotty in today's Best Country, Clear 99.
It's a Clear Country morning.
Another guy that we met in the 90s is coming up to kick off a Clear 99 60-minute music marathon. It's Tim McGraw on today's Best. Wow.
He's
quite a reaction. I know. I just wasn't expecting it. I said Tim McGraw, and all of a sudden in my headphones I hear, It was funny. It was just like a natural, unique reaction that I was not prepared for. Y'all are faces as red as her hair right now. That's funny. Tim McGraw.
It's a Clear Country morning.